Alright, we're done fucking around. It's over. We're done with the Warlord discussions. Now we're moving on to the Yonko. And I gotta tell you right now, man, or woman, whichever, not sexist, if you are one of those casual One Piece fans, if you really don't know what's up from down and you don't know what's going on or whatever, I don't know why you'd be watching these discussion videos, but let's just say you're not, you don't really know what's going on. If you're sitting there right now like, so what's the big difference between the Yonko and the Warlords, huh? Like, aren't they both, like, really strong pirate groups? What's the big hullabaloo? Oh, there is a difference. There is a difference. The Yonko make the Warlords look like they're a bunch of happy fucking bunnies frolicking in the meadow with flowers and pixies and fairies, and the sun is shining down on them smiling, and everything is happy living in their little bunny society. Then the Tyrannosaurus Rex rocks out from the fucking woods, wrecks the entire meadow, shreds bunnies' carcasses like they're fucking cray paper, okay? That's what happens. In one-on-one single combat, there's no question the Yonko win, even if you want to refer to it as like one of the top tier members of the Warlords, like Doflamingo or Crocodile. Doflamingo versus Shanks, Shanks wins. Doflamingo versus Whitebeard, Whitebeard wins. Doflamingo versus Kaido, Kaido wins. In fact, that was the whole goal of Law's plan, was like, let's piss off Kaido and get Kaido to attack Doflamingo, and like, alright, then we don't have to worry about that, flamingo dick anymore. The one exception to that was Mihawk. Mihawk fought against Shanks and managed to get out unscathed, or at least managed to get out with his life intact. I want to classify that as more of just like an honorable duel between men or something like that, But there's no question about it. And also you can see that Mihawk and Shanks are on good terms with one another. They're kind of like friends and pals, at least comrades, But there's no question about it. If the Yonko want you dead, and you're not like another Yonko, or if you're not like a high-ranking member of the Marines, or if you're not Luffy, if the Yonko want you dead, and you're just a run-of-the-mill fuck-off pirate, you're gonna be dead by the time the sun goes down. There's no question about that. And the one we're talking about today is, of course, Red-Haired Shanks. Dun 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 dun. I can't play the actual theme because of copyright, but okay. So we're going to be going in order from how the Yonko were revealed in the story, and Shanks was actually revealed in the first chapter of the story, and it's funny because if you actually don't, if you don't know anything about One Piece, and you jump into the first chapter, Romance Dawn, and you don't look at the cover of the chapter or anything like that, if you don't know who the main character is, it would be possible that you can confuse Shanks for the main character, because Shanks is actually one of the centerpieces of the first chapter, where he's just hanging out in the East Blue, just stocking up on supplies, and that's, of course, when he meets Luffy. Shanks is the impetus for Luffy's aspirations to become Pirate King. He's the one that inspired him to become a pirate to begin with. If Shanks never met Luffy, Luffy quite easily probably could have just become a Marine, like Garp always wanted, because there was nothing to really drive him. This was the earliest points in Luffy's life that we're aware of, and that's the thing that really sets him on the path that we get to right now. Of course, there's other things along the lines that drove him, like Sabo's death when he was a kid, and, eventually Ace's death later on in the story, but it was Shanks that started it all off. And it's hard not to love Shanks, because I get to finally use this word. I love to use this word, but it's just the opportunity for this just so rarely comes up. Shanks is a swashbuckler. I love using that word, swashbuckler. He's like a typical look at a pirate, If there's ever gonna be a One Piece live-action movie, please, for the love of God, let Johnny Depp play Shanks. I think he could do it so well, don't you think? He's like the closest thing to like Captain Jack Sparrow we're gonna get. Every time we see Shanks, and we don't get to see him all that often. He was in the first chapter, he was the impetus to set it off, but he is not a center stage kind of guy. We don't really know that much about him, to be honest with you. Just the really basic shit. But every time we see him, he's always chilling out on some island, like having a big-ass party, getting fucking drunk, just like, hey guys, it's party time, drinks are on me. Oh, what's that? Luffy's got a bounty? Oh man, drinks are on, like double drink, let's get double drunk, He's just hanging out, he's such a chill dude, but there's no one you want to cross less, as Akin Inu found out. Yeah, so let's just go through the history of it really quick, but honestly, there's really not much to go off of here. But anyway, Shanks started off as an apprentice on Goldie Roger's ship, so already he's kind of bred to be a badass. He is the second recipient of the straw hat. Goldie Roger had the original straw hat. I don't really know where he got that. I hope there's an actual origin of the straw hat itself. Like, we know Goldie Roger got it, but if he got it from someone else, or if he just, like, bought it at, like, a shop or someplace, I don't know. I feel like there's a more, interesting origin of that goddamn hat. Knowing One Piece, it's probably going to be, like, some really freaking fucked up dark history behind it or whatever. Anyway, Goldie Roger gave the hat to Shanks. We don't really know why. Shanks gave the hat to Luffy probably because he saw an image of Roger in Luffy, the kind of stuff that he was saying, and he really genuinely believed that Luffy was going to become a famous pirate someday. So perhaps Roger had the same inclination when he gave the hat to Shanks. But anyway, yeah, so we know he was an apprentice on Goldie Roger's ship. He was friends with Buggy, who was also an apprentice on the ship. Eventually, Goldie Roger gets executed. The Roger pirates break apart. Shanks and Buggy were both present at Logtown when he was executed. At that point, Shanks actually asked Buggy to be part of his crew, but Buggy is like, screw off, I don't want to be part of that. So they separated there. Shanks, bunch of stuff happens at that point. We get a little bit of a insight to this in Strong World in One Piece, like the Zero chapter, as it ties into the movie Strong World, but we got an extra bonus manga chapter, and I believe there was also an OVA about it as well, where we see the beginnings of Shanks building his pirate crew, where he's in the East Blue and he's arriving on Gecko Island. It's Gecko Island with Syrup Village, where Usopp's from, and he arrives there looking for Yasopp, and he recruits Yasopp into his crew. So Yasopp actually might have been the first member of the red-haired pirates that Shanks recruits, because I think in that OVA, Shanks was just in like a little dinghy, and he just approaches the island like, hey, I'm looking for this guy, he's a sharpshooter named Yasopp, whatever. So, yeah, and then some other stuff happens, and eventually he becomes a Yonko. That's like what I mean, like a bunch of stuff happens, and he becomes one of the strongest pirates in the seas, one of the four emperors. I don't know. I mean, there's a duel with Mihawk in there somewhere, and that's whatever. Okay, so I guess we cut right up to when he meets Luffy in the East Blue. He's in the East Blue. A lot of people have questioned why he was in the East Blue at the beginning of the story. You have to keep in mind that while Shanks himself is not native to the East Blue, he's actually from the West Blue. But you have to remember, there's two members of his crew that we know of for certain that are from the East Blue. We have Yasopp, and we also have Ben Beckman. Ben Beckman is actually noted by Oda to be the most intelligent man in the East Blue. He gave the top three, so Ben Beckman's number one, Captain Kuro, the Black Cat Pirates was number two, and Nami was number three. But Ben Beckman is the smartest guy, and he's also serves as sort of like the first mate to Shanks' crew. Another guy you do not want to fuck with. Along with that, we also have Lucky Roo, who is the fat guy behind Shanks there. We don't really know much about him at all, or what his deal is, or where he's from, but he's also one of the very noteworthy members of the Red Hair Pirates. He's always hanging around Shanks, Yasopp, and Ben Beckman there. I don't know if it was actually stated if Shanks was a Yonko when he met Luffy, because that was 10 years ago. But considering his pedigree, considering where he's been and everything, I would say it's very, very fair to say that he could have been a Yonko, or if not, he was right along those lines. He was making big leaps even when he was very young. Pretty much probably since the moment he left Roger's crew, he was making a name for himself. And of course, the government hates fucking Roger's crew. They want to kill them all as quickly as possible. So yeah. All right, so let's talk about his pirate crew for a second, the red-haired pirates. I'm gonna go into a little bit of a tirade here. It is going somewhere. I have to let you understand the scale of this and how big of a deal this is. Okay, so obviously, Yonko, it literally means 4 emperors, okay? So there's only 4. There used to be, you know, Whitebeard used to be part of it, but then he died and now Blackbeard, but there's currently 4, alright? Let's look at the other 4 Yonko really quick. Let's just even include Whitebeard. I'm sorry for saying 4 Yonko, because I'm basically saying 4 emperors, but okay. Whitebeard's pirate crew. He had 16 divisions, each having a shit ton of pirates in it, with a commander that was pretty damn strong. You know, the strongest ones having devil fruit powers. Like Ace was a commander, Marco was a commander, Jozu was a commander. They all have like freaking high-powered devil fruits. They each command entire divisions. They had a bunch of different pirate ships, and they were allied with a shit ton of New World pirates. You know, like, Whitebeard basically had a fleet at his command whenever he fucking snapped his fingers. That was Whitebeard. Big Mom rules over an entire island, like, I don't know, island chain, archipelago, whatever, an entire group of islands called Totland. 36 islands, I think it is, or something like that she rules over as the queen. And her children, which she has dozens of children, each one is a minister of one of these islands, and a bunch of them have devil fruit powers as well. And she has the ability to control the weather and all this wacky shit. Kaido has the Beast Pirates, over 100 people that have utilized artificial devil fruit abilities, that have Zoan type abilities that can turn into animals. Not to mention the fact that he is like an unkillable giant beast. Ruling over Wano Kuni right now, by the way. And then you have Blackbeard. Blackbeard started off as kind of like nothing, but now he's a Yonko, and he has an entire fleet of pirate ships at his command. You know, Shiru is the commander of the 2nd Division, and they have divisions now, very kind of like similar to like an anti-Whitebeard pirates, or like a negative Whitebeard pirates. Shanks has 1 pirate ship to our knowledge. 1. And from what we have seen so far, less than 100 crew members. Now, there could be more to his crew. He could have more. He could have more ships. He could have more crews that, you know, like I said, we don't know much about him. But from what we have seen so far, 1 pirate ship, the Red Force, kick-ass name, and like a group of 100 or less pirates. And he is one of the strongest pirates in the fucking world. This is a guy that literally strolled up to Whitebeard's ship with the commanders on board and then just walks on and just has a nice little friendly chat with Whitebeard. Even though, based on just sheer numbers and power, like manpower alone, Whitebeard outclasses him, no question. But he still heard him out. They clashed a little bit, but he still heard him out. He clashed with Kaido before going to Marineford. Like, that was like a warm-up for him. He clashed with Kaido of the 100 Beast Pirates and didn't even really get scathed at all. Didn't get really injured. He shows up to Marineford the next day looking like $1 million. His ship's not damaged. His crew's not bloody and beaten. So unless Shanks has, like, a hidden, invisible fleet at his command, his power is legit. Alright, his power is 100% legit. And it's funny, because we don't really know a lot about his power. The one ability that we know 2 things about him. We know he's a swordsman. Probably one of the strongest swordsmen in the world. Probably had that title before Mihawk had it. And we know that he has really huge fuck-off hockey. Like, his hockey boner is like, you know, a mile long, alright? Because his Conqueror's hockey mixed with Whitebeard's Conqueror's hockey was enough to, like, split the goddamn heavens in half. He was able to knock out members of Whitebeard's crew. He was able to clash with freaking Aka Inu. You know, who's, hold on a second. I'm sorry. Who's, hockey alone is badass. You know, and let's talk about this scene for a second. Let's talk about this scene, because it brings to question a lot of people. There's a lot of prominent... I've been reading up a lot of theories involving Shanks in the past few days, obviously. And there's a theory that he has, I don't think he has a devil fruit, but there's a theory that if he did have a devil fruit, it would be the ability to stop time. Because I'm looking at that scene when he arrives in Marineford, and it's Kobe right in front of Akainu, facing down pretty much, magma toasty death. And he's like, this is a horrible war, we have to stop this. And Akainu's just like, shut up, boy. And then just goes. Shanks just appears in the middle of them and just blocks Akainu's fist. Now you could just say there, it's shonen, it's dramatic timing. Shanks is just a really fast dude. Probably knows high-speed movement techniques like Soru or something else, but I don't know. It's just that one scene there, it seems like he just appeared right there. No one noticed him up to that point. No one noticed the red hair pirates. I understand it's in the middle of a war, but it's one of the most prominent pirate crews in the entire world. I think you would notice, I don't know, but that is one interesting point there. I still don't like to think that Shanks has a devil fruit, because it would be so awesome if he didn't. Because all the other Yonko, to our knowledge, except for Kaido, but to our knowledge, they all have devil fruit abilities. Whitebeard had one, Big Mom has one, Blackbeard has one. We don't know about Kaido yet. But if Shanks and Kaido were the only two to not have devil fruit abilities, and they were that badass just on their merit alone, having their titles behind them, and also just, through other means, that'd be pretty scary. Because I think it's fair to say that the members of the red-haired pirates they cherish, it's like the Straw Hats, they cherish quality over quantity. Because look at it this way. I want to look at it this way. All right. Whitebeard pirates are intimidating. They show up to Marineford and everyone's like, oh shit. Let's look at Marco, for instance. Marco was a very high-ranking member of the Whitebeard pirates. You can even say that Marco was like the first mate, like the second in command. He was the leader of the first division. And he has a mythical Logia freaking devil fruit ability. Kizaru takes on Marco, no big deal. He's an enemy. He's an opponent to be reckoned with. But no one's, like, shitting their pants over Marco. None of the admirals are shitting their pants over Marco or anything like that. Kizaru dives in and fights against Marco. Like, you're a worthy opponent, First Division Marco. But then you get the red-haired pirates showing up. And you get that scene, that's such an awesome scene, where Ben Beckman's just chilling out on the top of one of the ships with his fucking blunderbuss or his rifle or whatever. And Kizaru's ready to go. He's ready to transform into light and go. And Ben Beckman's just like, hold it right there, Kizaru. Kizaru's just like, whoa, Ben Beckman, Now, he's Kizaru, so he could just be like, oh, all right, I'll stop, whatever. But I don't know. He seemed like, all right, I better, because he was about to, because Kizaru's a guy that can transform into literally light. He can travel at light speed, for fuck's sake. And he was all ready to do that, and then just like, oh shit, Ben Beckman's got a rifle pointed at me. I better, So what has he got? Hockey-infused bullets? Kurioseki bullets? I don't know, but it was enough to get him worried, like, all right, okay, I like to say that if you're going to compare each member of, like, the division commanders of the Whitebeard Pirates to a single member of the red-haired pirates, I would say the red-haired pirates would come out on top always. You also have Usopp's dad, Yasop, who is probably the best sharpshooter in the world, or at least in that category of highest level sharpshooters in the world. Shit, man. They're scary. You don't want to fuck with them. There's also one more member that we're aware of. There's a few that we see in Marineford. We see this big tall guy, this blonde guy with a bunch of freaking with a monkey on him or something. Like we see people like that, but we don't know what they can do yet. I hope that, this isn't just like a random bunch of people. I hope that Oda really does expand on each ones of the red-haired pirates in times. The only other one that we know of was Rockstar. Do you guys remember Rockstar? No one remembers Rockstar, but Rockstar, actually the entire crew kind of looks like an entourage of like a 70s like hard rock band. You know, sort of, kind of, if you look at it a certain way. They're, like I said, they're fucking pirates. You know, they go around and they pillage and they drink and they eat and they have parties. That's what they do, man. Love Shanks and the Red-Haired Pirates. But okay, yeah, Rockstar. What I was gonna say, Rockstar appeared at the end of Alabasta. He was the one that Shanks actually sent to go meet Whitebeard. Whitebeard, before he actually met Whitebeard, he actually sent him a letter, and he charged Rockstar with delivering the letter. And Rockstar is really nothing to speak about right now, because we see pirates that have, like, you know, hundreds, if not a billion, you know, berry bounty. Rockstar had 94 million as his bounty. 94 million berries. And like I said, not a big deal right now, but back at the end of the Alabasta arc, you know, when, you know, at this point, you know, Luffy's bounty just jumped to 100 million, but that was like one of the highest that we've seen. You know, and the thing was that Rockstar was a rookie on Shanks's crew. He was just a rookie. He was a newbie, and he had 94 million. You know, that was just kind of indicative back then about what their pirate crew, like the level of, you know, stuff that Shanks compared to Luffy's. And we didn't even know that Shanks was a Yonko. We didn't even know what the Yonko were back then. Damn. You know, honestly, though, there's not really much for me to say about him other than the fact that, you know, he had the ability to end the war. You know, like I said, Shanks' crew does not have a lot of people on it in just that one ship that pulls up to Marineford. But even just with that one ship, and Shanks steps out and he says, you know, if anyone wants a fight, we're here. And even if you think about, like, okay, the Marines have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people working for them right now. And Shanks' crew maybe numbers, you know, like I said, less than 100. Even with that knowledge, Sengoku and all the other top-ranking Marines were like, all right, okay, we'll retreat, we'll fall back, war's over. You know, they were afraid. They didn't want to do it, even if it was only a group of maybe a few dozen people even that had, like, decent level power. You know? Even if it was a situation like that, they still didn't want to fight them. So I don't know, maybe I'm sucking Shanks' dick here. Maybe I'm making it look like he's, like, way more of a badass than he really is. Like, no, Tekking, he probably has, like, a fleet of pirates, or he probably still has a bunch of more pirates on his crew. That's just one ship. I don't know. I still like to think of him as, you know, he made that Yonko status with the one ship, with no badass fleet of pirates or anything like that. He has the one ship and the one crew. Kinda like Luffy. There you go. It all ties back together. Luffy is going to become king of the pirates with probably less than 10 people on his crew. Probably 10 is the maximum. He does have the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, which maybe Shanks is allied with a bunch of other pirate crews similar to Whitebeard that he could maybe call upon if he wanted to. But he strolled up to a fight with, he strolled up to Marineford without calling on them, though. He was confident that he could end this war with just his single crew. That speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. He's also a very humble guy, by the way. He's not the kind of guy that's just like, let's go burn this village down just because we can. Or, I'm such a badass fucking pirate, I'm a Yonko. He's not that kind of guy. He's not like that. We're kind of like Big Mom, kind of flaunts it. Blackbeard definitely flaunts it. You know, even at times Whitebeard did. Whitebeard was not as much, he wasn't an arrogant bastard. He didn't corrupt himself with it, but there were a lot of times where Whitebeard's like, I am Whitebeard, you know, bitch, you know, you will not talk to me that way. Shanks isn't kind of like that. Shanks isn't like that. Shanks isn't the guy that's just like, you know, he's like, I'm red-haired Shanks and you will not address me as such. You know, he doesn't do that kind of shit. He's very, very kind of Captain Jack Sparrow. Oh, one more thing before I go. Okay, so this scene right here, I addressed this in, I addressed this in my, in another video I did, involving, I think it was, I can't remember what it was. The hockey video. That was what it was. It was the hockey video where I was talking about that. People always bring up this one scene, and I guarantee you, because I waited to the end of this video, someone's going to already be messaging it in the comments below, so whatever, you didn't watch to the end of the video, so screw off. But they're always going to mention that joke. Yep, Shanks is such a badass pirate. He's a Yonko, and he stopped the war, and he fought against Kaido, but that one lowly scrub of a Sea King managed to take his arm out, huh? So I guess that Sea King is the strongest, must be the strongest character in the series, and Luffy took it out, so I guess, you know, bruh. For the last fucking time, Shanks let the Sea King take his arm. He saw Luffy. He wanted to inspire him to become a pirate, but he also, I think, probably wanted to let him know what it really means to be a pirate, the shit that you have to go through to be a pirate. But he saw his former captain. He saw Roger's spirit in Luffy. He entrusted him with his straw hat, and he let the Sea King take off his arm. And he even says to Whitebeard later on, I made a bet for the new era. You know, that's why I gave up this arm. By the way, he's able to do all that shit, fight with Kaido, Marineford, stop Aka Inu, send terror down the hearts and souls of Marines and pirates alike, being able to, just walk on Whitebeard's crew with not a care in the world. He was able to do all of that with one arm. So, yeah, even the fact that he lost the arm shouldn't be a big deal, considering he was able to do all that shit. Although, the scars on his eye that he got from Blackbeard, that is the scary shit. That is the thing I want a backstory on, because Shanks even came out and said, okay, I gave up this arm on purpose, but this, I was not careless with this. I wasn't making a bet on the new era with this. Blackbeard is fucking dangerous. So I don't know how he got the drop on Shanks, Blackbeard, but he did something. Blackbeard is a weaselly little bastard, and I made a whole discussion video about him, so you can go check him out. The Blackbeard discussion video I made, which I guess in theory would also be a Yonko discussion as well. But I've jawed on for long enough. Bottom line is, don't piss him off. Don't piss him off. He's one of the most laid back Yonko, but there's not a person you want to cross less in this series so far, I want to say. I want to even put my money on Shanks being more dangerous than Kaido or Big Mom or, I don't know about Whitebeard's pirates. Well, right now the Whitebeard pirates are gone, but, I don't know. But I would say, you know what? I will make the claim. Shanks is the most powerful pirate in the world right now. The only person that could maybe dispute that claim, Kaido. But he fought against Kaido, and he got out unscathed. Granted, Kaido did too, probably. So if you don't want to take that as face value, say that Kaido and Shanks are tied for the strongest pirates in the world. We don't really know much more about them, so we'll just have to wait and see. But that's the way I view this. Signing out, guys. Signing out.